Welcome to my podcast, Jack to the Future. From science and inventions to pollution and recycling, I talk about what's changing in the world, the future, and how we can help with that. Every month I'll talk about a different future theme. For example, the future of science, tech, sustainability, reading, music, and all sorts of other ones. The future of everything. Did you know? You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Jed to the Future and on YouTube as Jack to the Future. Follow me to get behind the scenes info, access to the previews about my next episodes, and much, much more. This week's episode is about the future of work and what skills children will need for jobs in the future. In fact, it's the first part of 2 episodes that focus on the future of work. The next, which will be at the end of October, is about entrepreneurship. So keep your eyes and ears out for that one. Details will be on my social media pages in the next few weeks. Today I interview Ascension from a company called School in Reviews. So just for a bit of fun, these are the things my special guest and I will be talking about today. Can you guess what they are? Listen carefully. You probably guessed robots or computers, right? You'd be correct. But not just that, we talk how jobs could change, whether robots will replace the human jobs, and discuss the skills children will need to be taught for future jobs, including flexibility. Did you hear an elastic band stretching? And work as a team. Did you hear how cheering a team member on? And learning or reskilling. You may have heard the hustle and bustle of a busy classroom. We did a fair bit of research on this topic before the episode. We watched a video by The Economist called Is Your Job Safe?, which was really interesting. Here are some facts from the report.
Technology today could lead to 45% of current jobs disappearing.
There could be 1 billion location-independent workers by 2035, people who could work anywhere in the world.
2.3 million people across the world share workspaces and 89% are happier working in a place together with people from other organizations.
There could be 133 million new jobs by 2022.
We also read an article written by a special guest today about education for the future generations to prepare us for the world of work. She talks more about this in an interview, but it's definitely worth a read. I'll ask my mum to pick a link to the article and the Economist video in the podcast description and on social media. Before we begin, I got in touch with a fellow child podcaster called Gwen Gets to Work, and she interviews grown-ups about their jobs and what they do. Do check out Gwen's podcast, available on all major listening platforms, and her website is gwengetstowork.com. Given all her experience talking to different people in different professions, I wondered what her predictions for the future are, so this is what she had to say.
I'm Gwen from Gwen Gets to Work. For my podcast, I've interviewed a lot of people in a lot of different jobs. One thing I feel quite good about for the future of work is that they all seem very happy, and lots of people have done different jobs first before they have found the happy one. So yeah, it's hard to know what you want to be when you grow up, and I think lots of grown-ups change around a lot still. So maybe that is the future of work, that people do jobs that make them happy as well as get them money.
Thanks, Gwen. I love that. Doing what you love for a job would literally be a dream come true. The next episode, we'll meet some people doing exactly that, living their dreams out as entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is somebody who sets up their own business, hopefully to make some money from it. What would your dream job be? Ice cream taster? Famous singer? If you've listened to any of my episodes, you'll probably know what I want to do for a job when I grow up already. What do you think the future of work will be? If you would like to see the subtitles to aid your listening to this podcast, then please visit my YouTube page. My mum will add the link to the podcast description. I'd like to welcome my special guest from Ascension from School in Reviews. Lovely to have you here all the way from Singapore. Hello.
Hello, Jack. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Well, I'm excited for today's podcast. Your organisation is called School in Reviews. Why is it called that? And what do you do?
The name was the result of 2 aspects. On one side, the combination of 2 words, school and international. And with the concept of schooling, as the education received at school. On the other side is the word reviews, because schooling wants to be more than a list of international schools. We invite parents to contribute with their recommendations and their comments to create a community of trust that offers parents valuable information about international schools. Actually, the idea of schooling originated during a family dinner with my children and my husband. We come from Spain, but we've been living abroad for almost 20 years. It means that we have been moving a lot, and we experience firsthand how difficult it is to find the right school for our children. When we moved to a country where we didn't know anybody, so we didn't get any recommendation. So then some years later, after that dinner, I had the chance to build schooling, and I did it. And it is an online platform where parents can share their opinions and comments about the international schools they know. And doing so, they are helping other parents who are looking for that right school for their children, and of course are interested in this information. Now, I used to say that schooling is like a TripAdvisor, but for international schools.
Yeah, I think my school is just perfect, really.
My school is a state school, not a private school.
Oh, yeah.
Do you review state schools as well as private schools?
This platform is basically for international schools.
Yeah.
Are all international schools private schools where you have to pay?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Actually, the world of international school is quite expensive. It is becoming like a recent trend to have, it is called affordable international schools, but there are not many.
How's an international school different to my school?
Mainly is the curriculum. We have the British curriculum. There are schools who follow the International Baccalaureate, also the American curriculum. These are the three main curriculums abroad. Most of them follow the English as the language of teaching, but it has to be a language different than the language used in the country where the school is located. For instance, a German school in Germany wouldn't be an international school, but a German school in England would be an international school. Does it make sense for you, Jack?
Yeah. It'll be hard for them to learn.
Is that why they're so good at different languages? Because they start learning it so young and all their lessons are in that different language?
For example, when
I met a Polish friend on holiday called
Bruno, his English was better than our Polish.
Absolutely.
I watched a children's programme on Netflix called The Investigators, and I watched an episode where
There's this guy who moved around all the countries and went to all different schools around the world. I didn't understand that. Now I understand because of international schools. He looked really sad because he didn't have any friends.
How did your children find it moving to different schools and making friends? Surely they'll just have loads of friends in different parts of the world. That would be really cool.
This is a very good question. I'm still having my doubts. I think they have been coping with it quite well. And actually, you know what, Jack, most of the children are in the same situation. They are used to make new friends. And that's an advantage. So they have good friends in many parts of the world.
Yeah.
But I think they miss a bit of roots, of belonging to one place.
Yeah, somewhere where they feel settled, like their home.
It's tough.
Most of my friends, like best friends, are at my school.
Yeah.
But then if you go at other schools, you stay there for a while, your own friends who might be missing you.
Must be tricky.
In the future, I think we'll need to know how to use technology, and also we'll need to be good at finding solutions to problems. For example, being more environmentally friendly at work. What skills do you think children need for a job in the future?
You are absolutely right, Jack. Technology has reshaped the way we live our lives. And I also think that technology is the key for solving a lot of problems in the future, from environmental problems, as you mentioned, like global warming, to health problems, disease or disabilities. And let me give you an example. Do you know Google? One of the biggest tech companies in the world. Well, currently they are developing a spoon for people with tremors.
A spoon?
Yeah. So when people with Parkinson have to eat, they can do it without any help.
Yeah.
So because of this massive impact of technology, education also needs to change and keep changing.
I agree, to keep up with things.
Yeah, and that's why I think this emphasis on children developing certain skills will be very important for future jobs. STEM skills are a great example for this. Do you know what is STEM? What it stands for?
Was it science, technology, engineering, and maths?
Yeah, exactly. And these skills are some of the most sought after skills in the labor market right now. But the interesting thing about STEM skills is that they are becoming essential in any job.
Yeah. One of the reasons I knew what STEM was is because I'm really into science, and I will make technology when I'm older because that's the only thing I want to do.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. You know, what I wanted to tell you is not only if you are a scientist. For example, do you know anything about the field of marketing, advertising?
No, not really.
Marketing is the field of creative advertising, but nowadays it has a lot more to do with analytics, with data, and numeric skills are very important.
I think I like that too, because data, numbers and analysing stuff, I could use math and science, couldn't I?
Yeah, and another highly skill for the children is the ability to code. Are you used to that?
Yeah.
Python, SQL, I don't know which one you use.
Scratch. I like doing that sort of stuff because it's kind of my thing as well.
Okay, lovely. Are you able to programming?
Yeah, I'm able to program. I do play games.
I play Minecraft.
Okay, that's fantastic, Jack. Well done. Some basic or rudimentary knowledge of programming would be an advantage in the future, absolutely. But if I have some time, I would also like to point out that there are some social or interpersonal skills that haven't, from my point of view at least, haven't lost their importance. In a digital world, skills like adaptability, communication, teamwork are very, very important. And I am very happy to see that some schools and universities have increased the emphasis on those skills and, for instance, are putting a lot of effort in teamwork, public speaking. Probably you do it as well at school. In the past, most of the coursework and essays were done individually, while now most of the coursework is group-based. So students, if they want to succeed, they need to learn to work as a team as well. Do you do that at school?
Yeah, we have the golden rules, and they're a little bit like what you have to do at school. For example, try your best, help others, can work as a team, and all that stuff like that.
We work quite often with a partner, but sometimes we work in bigger groups. Like last year, we had to design an advert for a chocolate bar.
It's learning to collaborate as well. That's fantastic.
Very fun. What could parents do to help children develop the skills they need for jobs in the future?
Okay, I think, Jack, that as parents, we need to put a lot of emphasis on developing STEM and computer skills. And, you know, as with my marketing example from before, it doesn't matter what you want to be or what you want to do in the future. Whatever you want to be, an engineer, a writer, a photographer, an architect, everybody will need to have at least basic knowledge of mathematics, analysis, and ideally programming as well. But these are tough subjects at school. So we have to, as parents, encourage our children and support you so that you can build those skills with confidence. But I wouldn't like to leave those social and interpersonal skills aside. I think we should do what we have done and encourage our children as well, encourage to socialize with friends. I think that's very important. Taking part in STEAM sports or any other activities or hobbies you have, we also need to carve out some time in the day to disconnect from technology and be present with your family.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, lovely. Great to hear so.
Yeah, I agree with all of those.
In my question, I talked about being more environmentally friendly and thinking about how our jobs can impact on our planet.
That's exactly what I think at school. I'm just thinking that, yeah, we're doing learning, that's good, but we need to think about more things important. For example, what's happening around us, what's happening on the earth.
New jobs will need to be made that help things like global warming.
We watched a video by The Economist about the future of work. It talked about how robots could replace up to 45% of jobs in the future. I think that robots will work with humans to do jobs in the future rather than replace them completely. We also saw this thing in Ocado. Do you know what Ocado is?
No, what is Cardo?
Ocado is a online supermarket you can get your groceries from. We saw the massive grid of all tubs of like different shopping, all the fruit and vegetables and whatever they ordered. And then these big robots would come over to one square in the grid and then push this basket down and then fill it up with the order that they've ordered. And then the robot will take it back into a chamber and then drop it, and then it would go along a conveyor belt into a box and get delivered in a van all the way to that person's home. So that's how it works.
Ocado said it's actually made jobs because they need people to program the robots.
And actually go in the van and deliver the food to the person, manually do it.
I think maybe that's better than the environment. I don't know really.
But don't use too much electricity because even that's bad for the environment. Well, what do you think if robots will work with humans to do jobs?
Well, that's a fascinating topic, actually. I haven't seen the video you were referring to before, but I read also a little bit about it. I agree with you. I don't think robots are going to substitute humans. I think they are going to be working with us rather than replace us. Yeah. And there are already some jobs that are obsolete, but there will be also some new jobs. And it's exactly what you were saying about this supermarket or this online platform. And I think it's because despite all the technological advances in the past years, if we take a look at the unemployment rate in the Western countries, there are more jobs now. There is more people working right now. Yeah, and we could even say, as in your example, that we also have better jobs because those jobs that are more, manual, like picking up the groceries from the supermarket and put it in a basket, is done by robots, while we are working at home just programming those robots. So in a way, they are more comfortable jobs. And we were talking before about my family. My daughter, she has started university and she's studying medicine. And probably medicine is one of the fields where technology advances have a bigger impact, for diagnosis and surgeries and prescriptions. There are many ways technology is helping doctors, but they are not replacing them. The doctors are still there, and we want to deal with people, especially when we are sick. We wouldn't be so confident talking to a robot. What do you think?
Yeah, unless we had to program them very, very hard to actually make them talk to us. Unless we put
something like Siri or Alexa
inside the robot, and then he could answer our questions for us. We can make him a bit better. So then if you ask him a question, he'd say, sure. And then he would actually respond and do it. And then actually go over and do whatever you wanted. Yeah.
Imagine having to program all of that. And you couldn't have a response for every question in the world.
I think the main difference is how you feel. If you are healthy and you go to the doctor and it's just a routine checkout, that's fine. You just go there and or just a vaccination. But if we are feeling sick and we really need somebody to tell us which are the potential treatments for our disease and which are the consequences and which are the possibilities of recovery and the side effects, that personal connection is needed.
Not the same human connection with a robot.
Absolutely. I wanted to say something else also about this potential jobs loss. Coming back to what we were saying before about the resilience, I think the most important skills for you to learn is to adapt. In case those jobs disappear, you are able to reskill yourself.
Learn new skills to learn a new job.
Exactly.
Over lockdown, we all had to adjust, whether it was homeschooling or to work at home or being furloughed. So yeah, I agree, flexibility and resilience is important. Things don't always go to plan, do they? I think maybe then people losing their job, they may have to learn new skills because their job will change slightly, so it'll look different in the future.
Maybe like Dad's job, fixing computers, it'll turn into like programming robots and doing coding for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So schools will need to keep up with technology in terms of what they're teaching us then.
Absolutely. And much faster than they have done till now. A good example is the COVID. Learning new skills is what the teachers have done, some of them faster or easily than others, but during the lockdown and the homeschooling, teachers have to use computers to teach. I don't know about your experience, Jack, but probably not of them were so advanced in computers.
But sometimes the children are like, oh, right, no, when you do it, you press this button and that button, and then,
yeah.
Because, children are born with technology. It's just normal life for me.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the future unless they did a time machine.
Yeah. And even the pandemic, nobody could have imagined the COVID could happen 2 years ago. So it's what you said, Jack. The future is completely black hole. Nobody knows what is in there. I would like to ask you, Jack, how did you get the idea of running a podcast about the future?
My idea was Jack to the Future. Same as Back to the Future. Not Back to the Future is?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we're going to London today in a few hours. We're going to see a musical of Back to the Future.
Okay, beautiful. Lovely.
Yeah, because it's my dad's my favourite film. I just changed my name from Back to Jack because I love inventions and I'm really into science and technology, so I want to know all about the future and what happens in there. But as you said, it's a black hole. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
And what would you like to achieve with your podcast?
Well,
to invite the children like you to follow you?
My dream followers is going to be, or subscribers, or is probably going to be young people, children to adults. And I just think what I want to do is just make them think about the future and inspire them to do what we have to do. And, well, make them maybe want to do podcasts with me. So my aim for the amount of people to get is this is quite a lot, 10,000.
You want to get 10,000 followers?
No, 10,000.
10,000,
yeah.
10 million.
10 million.
Followers. Oh, that's fantastic. Really ambitious. No doubt about that. Well, I wish you all the very best, Jack.
I don't know. I'm joking, but maybe. You never know. And should I interview famous people? Well, I'll have to actually interview them first, because other people will definitely want to listen to the very famous.
Lovely initiative. I really congratulate you. And you gained 1 follower today, Jack, so you are closer to that 1 million followers.
There is a sign in my bedroom that somebody made for me, a slogan. It's in Back to the Future, and it said, "The future is what you make it, so make it a good one." So maybe that could happen.
Yeah, that's it, Jack. That's a lovely slogan. Love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for talking to me today as well.
It was a pleasure talking to you, really.
Really enjoyed it.
Enjoy very much your musical later in London.
Thank you. We will. Bye.
Bye.
That's all we've got time for today. So I've learned a lot in this episode, and it's interesting to think that maybe STEM skills and coding will be needed in all jobs, not just specifically sciencey and maths ones. Lucky for me, but like Ascension said, they're not easy subjects. So actually, with that cause problems in the future, maybe people won't be able to get a job, or there'll be lots of competition. I hope not. Do you agree? Keep your eyes and ears out for the episode on entrepreneurship coming out at the end of October. I have a few questions adapted from Inc.com for you to think about in the meantime. Feel free to contact us through social media channels or through the podcast platform if you'd like to share any of your thoughts, or even ask me. If you could open a shop, what would it be? When you last went to the shop, did the people working there do anything to make you feel happy? What would you do if you were in charge? Think about the last thing you bought as a treat for yourself, a book, a toy, something to eat, or whatever. Why did you buy it? Was it an advert, a friend recommending it, or something else? Whatever your reason, why do you think that worked? Join me next time for another exciting episode of Jack to the Future.